Okay, good afternoon. We're checking out the EV conversions. I'm here with Trevor, and this is a very impressive and different looking three-wheel vehicle here. So Trevor, tell us about it. What was this? Was this originally a car you converted, or did you make it from scratch? What's the story here?
Yeah, it's built from scratch. Work out the floor plan.
Yeah.
What's got to sit on the floor, what all the positions, or how that's all going to sit. And then I had a cardboard sheet that runs vertical through the centre here.
Yeah.
Draw the shape of what I want the top to be, and then I started timber framing around that to create the shape.
Okay.
Sheet that out with structural PVC foam. Put a skin of glass over the top of that to hold that all in shape. Then you get inside. I had this square here open. So climb in through there, rip all the timber framing out of it.
Okay.
And then you've got to cut and shut all the other extra little bits.
Okay, so how did you go getting the, well, I guess Roads and Maritime Service, or your equivalent? How did you get it past the regulators, get it registered?
Yeah, it's not registered yet, but it's very close now.
Okay.
It's been through a couple of engineers, well actually three in fact that I've worked with, 3 engineers. That's all been completed now, so that's been sent off to Transport Office, and Transport Office now got to go through all of that data. And
all right. Well, fingers crossed. In the next, well, perhaps year or so, you'll have a car that you can drive around. So were there ever any commercial vehicles that had this sort of three-wheel configuration that were commercially available in the last 50 or 60 years, or is this like a totally new idea for you?
There's nothing like this in Australia.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of ideas of this concept in US and Canada.
All right.
And I thought, I like that. I tried to buy one from the US, but it was going to cost me like $130,000, and it was petrol. And then I'd have to rip all that out and change it to an electric.
With that sort of effort, you might as well just start from scratch.
Exactly. I might as well just purpose build it, and it's much better than what I would have ended up with if I'd have bought one of those anyway, because I've created the shape purpose for holding the batteries and etc.
Oh yeah, well that would have been because if you're adapting an existing car and trying to push the batteries of whatever size you have batteries in, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. But if you actually design the whole shape around what batteries you have, I can imagine that being a lot more straightforward.
That's right.
So tell us a bit about, what your suspension is, what your powertrain is, what motors you're using, what batteries you're using, how you're controlling the motor, how you're controlling the charging of the batteries. What's going on? Yeah. What have you done with this car?
The front suspensions are billet cut, right. CNC. The rear swing arms is fabricated from box aluminium tubing, welded. The motor is in the wheel at the back.
Okay.
And so there's no chains or sprockets, just drives that wheel. And for forward and reverse, there's a toggle switch on the dash.
Right. Yeah.
Just reverses the phases into the motor to make it go backwards. Speed controllers just inside there. They're there's 2 motors actually, one on each side of the back rim there.
Right.
So there's 2 speed controllers. Because they're 3-phase AC.
Okay, 3-phase.
You need to have one on each, because otherwise they'll fight. You can't put one controller into 2 motors that are slightly out of phase.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Yep.
So how about the batteries and the charging?
Batteries run in the side pods.
Mm-hmm.
There's 48 cells at 200 ampere.
All right.
And then for controlling the batteries, I'm using Batterium.
Oh yeah, I can see
system.
the Batterium display. If you want to have a look at that later, Jason, it's got the traditional Batterium display there.
Yep. So everything I've always built, I always put a screen in there because the driver needs to know where the batteries are at.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of other home converter cars and they have no monitor. They have no idea what they're doing to the poor old batteries.
Yeah. Well, I know that E-Merc, we might sort of talk about that later on, but it's also got a Batterium thing where you get to see the status of all the different batteries at once.
That's right, yep.
All right, well anyway, look Trevor, thanks very much for all that. I wish you the best of luck getting it registered, and hopefully one day soon we'll see you driving around in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks very much, mate.
Thank you.
Hey.